Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tiger Media Network presented by the MIAA. My name is Levelt Similien. This is Caleb Taub, and we have a great game this afternoon. The Central Missouri Mules take on the Fort Hays State Tigers. Caleb, I know you had some few players to watch for the Mules. Will you let us know about them?
Well, yeah, so on the defensive side of the ball, I think we're going to really need to watch redshirt sophomore Noah Blair, having himself a terrific season in the secondary. He has 3 interceptions on the year, just doing it all for the defense, really. And then offensively, it's hard to key off of one specific player on their offense. They do a really good job of spreading the ball out, with 5 players having 20 or more rushing attempts on the year, and 5 or more players having 15 or more receptions on the year. So doing a really good job of spreading the ball out to multiple players is going to be hard for the defense to key off of one player.
For the Tigers, I have 2 players myself. The first player I want to talk about, he was 2021 All MIAA third team selection at receiver. He's number 6 for the Tigers, and he plays receiver. Manny Ramsey. This man's going to need to see a chiropractor after the season because he's been carrying the team on offense on his back. This season so far, he has 35 catches for 558 yards, and he also has 4 touchdowns. And just last game by himself, the man had 2 touchdowns, trying to keep the team afloat. And for on the defense side of the ball, I want to talk about another number 6 linebacker, Mikael Williams. He has 20 solo tackles this season. He has 50 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, and 1 interception that he got last week. I know you have 2 keys for the Mules.
Well, yeah, coming into this game, I think Fort Hays State's really going to have to watch out for the Mules secondary. They have a really tough secondary, as I mentioned before, Noah Blair having himself a good season. But then also, the whole secondary as a team has 9 interceptions on the year. They also have 4 fumble recoveries, so 13 total turnovers on the year. Doing a really nice job creating turnovers. Something the Tigers are really going to need to watch out for, especially since they're struggling with the turnovers. And then offensively for the Mules, I think if they just keep doing what they've been doing, it's going to work for them. They're doing a really good job spreading the ball out, spreading the wealth, with averaging 115 yards on the ground and 226 yards through the air per game. Just really good job there, and I think if they just keep doing that, it's going to be tough for the Tigers to stay alive in this game.
The two keys I have for the Tigers to win this game is, first, they have to avoid mistakes in the special teams. They just have to avoid these mistakes. Like no bad snaps, like snapping the ball over the punter's head. That's a no-no. You can't do that. You can't have muff punts, like when you about to get the ball back and the return just drops it. You can't have a punt return or kickoff return against you. You just can't afford that right now, especially if you want to win this game. But my last key, this is the most important. They have to win the turnover battle. You said the Mules have 9 interceptions this year. So that means the quarterback has to play smart. Sometimes he should just take his check downs, throw the ball out of bounds, or run for yards he can and then slide down. They just cannot turn over the ball. No fumbles, no interceptions, no stupid mistakes on offense.
Yeah, it should be a very entertaining matchup this afternoon between the 2-5 Central Missouri Mules and the 1-6 Fort Hays State Tigers. When we get back, we'll take you right back down to Lewis Field where we have Garrett and Omar as we approach kickoff.
LT and Caleb will take it from there.
Welcome back to the post-game show. My name is Levelt Similien. This is Caleb Todd. And this is Tiger Media Network presented by the MIAA. Caleb, what is your final thoughts about the game with Central Missouri?
Well, overall for Central Missouri, they had a good game offensively. They had 412 total yards, but they just struggled to get any points up there in the game. They had a very good passing attack with 333 passing yards. They just couldn't get anything established in the running game. I believe they finished with 79 rushing yards. Not very good in the running game, just couldn't get anything going there. And then on the other side of the ball, defensively, really struggling to stop the Tigers' running game. They gave up 204 yards on the ground. Just didn't have an answer for the Tigers' rushing ability, and that's what really cost them the game, I think, there at the end.
Well, for the Tigers, it's like they listened to me on the pregame show and they followed the exact keys I said. They had no mistakes in special teams, no bad snaps when the punter was gonna punt, no missed field goals, no drop passes by the returner or anything like that. They didn't have no punt or kick return against them, and they won over the turnover battle, 2-1. Ty Cooper, number one. He number one for the Tigers. He got a pick. And number 30, Sam Bennett for the Tigers also got a pick. And on the second in the halftime show, I talked about how they need to get the running game going, and they got that going in the second half. Adrian Soto finished with 26 carries, and he went for 101 yards, averaging 3.8 yards per carry. And then he also had help by Jack Dawson. Jack Dawson had 4 carries for 89 yards. And between the two of them, that's 192 yards. So they got that going for them.
Yeah, really good game, good competitive game we saw here. The final score at Lewis Field was 14-27. Forte State Tigers get their second win on the season. They hope to keep a little bit of this momentum moving into next week, where they go to Emporia State and take on the Hornets. And for the Central Missouri Mules, they will be going back home and playing Lincoln next week, hoping to bounce back for their game next week. Once again, we thank you for tuning in to the MIAA broadcast, brought to you by Tiger Media Networks. I'm Caleb Todd, and this is Levelt Similien. See you guys next time.
Presented by Tiger Media Network. My name is Levelt Similien. This is Caleb Todd, and we have a great one this evening, folks, as the 3-2 Washburn Ichabots take on the 1-4 Tigers for the Fort Hays Tigers homecoming game. And we're going to focus on the defense side of the ball for a little bit. What 2 players from Washburn are you looking at, Caleb?
Coming into this game, there's 2 key players on this Washburn defense. This Washburn defense has been playing really good this year. I think one of the reasons that is because of senior leader Grant Bruner on the team, who is having himself a terrific season. 43 solo tackles on the year. He also has 2 interceptions with 3.5 tackle for losses, having himself a terrific season. And another key player on that defensive side of the ball, on the defensive line, Patrick Altenor, having himself 3.5 tackle for losses and 1 sack on the year. Been doing a terrific job of getting pressure behind the line and to the quarterback. The Tigers are going to need to slow them down if they want any chance to win this ball game tonight.
And the 2 players I'm looking at for the Tigers to contribute big in this game is first, number 0, Jeremiah Jackson Trotter. He has 17 total tackles, 11 solo tackles, 5.5 sacks. He has 1 forced fumble and 1 interception. And another person I'm looking at is one of the Tigers DBs, number 21, Mason Perez. He is second on the team with 34 total tackles. He has 2 quarterback hurries and 1 forced fumble. And Caleb, I know you have 2 keys for Washburn to win this game. What 2 keys do you have?
Well, coming into this game, Fort Hays' secondary is going to need to play a tough game, with Washburn's passing offense being really explosive so far to open up the season, with 3 of the first 5 games having over 300 passing yards on the games. Just really explosive so far on the offensive side of the ball. And then on the other side of the ball, for the Ichabods, defensively, they've been doing just as well. They have 6 turnovers on the year. And that's going to be something they're going to look to do here tonight, as Fort Hays State's been struggling this season with the turnovers. They're going to really need to end that tonight against this tough Washburn defense.
Yes. For the Tigers, my 2 keys for them to win this game is the first one, they have to win this turnover battle. They just have to. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot lately. And to stop doing that, they have to win this turnover battle. To help everybody out, to help their coach out, to help them win. They just have to win this turnover battle. And my second key to this game for the Tigers is basically clock management. And a great way to do that is to run the ball. And for me, I think they need to run the ball for at least 185 yards. So that's not just the running backs. That means quarterback runs too, reverses, jet sweeps to the receivers. They just have to combine for 185 yards. That way, their defense can stay fresh.
That's a good point there. Good job, good idea to keep the ball out of the explosive Washburn's offense. So, with that said, coming up, we will take you back down to Lewis Field. We have Omar and Jackson as we get ready to approach the kickoff for Fort Hays State homecoming game.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is the MIAA Network and presented by Tiger Media Network. My name is Levelt Similien, and this is Caleb Todd, and we're back with your halftime report. It is a 24-7 ball game, and Washburn is taking the lead over Fort Hays State. And I just want to talk about a couple good things that we seen from Fort Hays. Jack Dawson, the QB right now, he has 10 attempted he has 16 attempted passes, completed 10 of them for 106 yards, and he has one rushing touchdown. And the two players I talked about in the beginning, Mason Perez, he has 3 solo tackles and he has 5 total tackles. And Jeremiah Jackson Trotter, he has 2 solo tackles and 1 forced fumble. From Washburn, what have they been doing good in the first half?
Well, Washburn jumped out to an early 14-0 lead here after completing a 44-yard touchdown reception to Colin Wilson. Just caught the Tigers off guard there, just spreading the field right there. Great connection there to get the early touchdown there. And then we also saw a blocked punt earlier in the game from Washburn shortly after this touchdown that we'll see right here on the screen. Washburn got a blocked punt that they returned back for a touchdown, jumping up to an early 14-0 lead. The Ichabods on the game have 197 yards of passing with a total of 291 yards in the first half. So far, a very impressive offensive game for the Ichabods. And defensively, they've still done great, holding the Tigers to under 150 yards in the first half. But they haven't been as efficient as you'd like to see in the pass rush, only having 1 sack so far in the game.
Well, these are the 2 keys for me that the Tigers need to do for the second half to win this game. They have to stop the deep ball. Mm-hmm. They just have to. Maybe apply more pressure or more nickel coverage for the DBs, but they got to stop the deep ball. And it's not just stopping number 13. It's everybody because they have a good QB and he likes to spread the wealth. He gets everybody involved. And for the offensive side for the Tigers, I think they should take more deep shots because it looks like the middle is wide open. Involve your tight end, like do seam passes and stuff like that. And I think that's what they should do.
Well, and yeah, on the other side for Washburn, I think really they've been playing a great half of football. If there's anything I'd like to see coming into the second half, I'd like to see them just keep passing the ball, keep doing what they've been doing in the first half offensively. Now, on the other side for defense, maybe you'd like to see a little bit more pressure to the quarterback. But other than that, Washburn's been doing a great job in the first half. And then next coming up on the TMN broadcast, after this quick break, we'll take you right back down to Lewis Field to kick off the second half of action. The score being Washburn 24, Fort Hays State 7.
What game or no matter what basketball game, what level, you got to win the rebound battle. And that is my second key for the Ladies Tigers to win this game. They got to rebound. They got to out-rebound the other team. What about you?
Well, so going back to the rebound topic for the Northeastern State Riverhawks, they've really struggled this year getting rebounds. I believe they're ranked 11th right now in the MIAA in rebounding. That's definitely something they're going to need to start picking up here as the season progresses, and especially tonight against a really good team in the rebounding game, as the Tigers are. But that's my main concern coming to this game is if they can get the rebounds. They've really struggled with that. And then another thing, I've talked about Ashton Hackler being a really big offensive threat. This whole Riverhawks team is a very good offensive team. They're averaging 75.6 points per game. And if you go look at the Tigers are only averaging 61.6 points per game. So coming into this game, I think if the Riverhawks get to around 65 to 70 points, I feel that's when they're going to kind of walk away with the game tonight, and that's going to be hard for the Tigers to really come back from that. And with that, that'll wrap up our Tiger Media broadcast pregame show. We'll be right back down courtside with Omar after this short break as we get ready for tip-off.
Rebounds. He also has 1 block, and he is 100% on 3-pointer shots. when he's 3 for 3, so he is 100%, and he got his floaters going on. Definitely the 3-point shots going on. Everything is going great with him. Any players you want to talk about for the Riverhawks?
Well, flipping the side to the Riverhawks. The Riverhawks came into this game knowing that the Tigers would really limit the amount of good shot selections they got in easy buckets. But they've done a great job of moving the ball around to allow for some good shot selections. Right here, we're going to see just a lot of good ball movement from the Riverhawks offense that's allowed some good looks, and they've taken advantage of that to get some points on the board. They've had excellent perimeter shooting 50% beyond the arc, doing a really good job perimeter. And they've also been doing a great job of drawing fouls in the first half. They're 13 for 15 at the free throw line. So they've done a good job of drawing fouls on the Tigers to get those easy points against this really tough defense. And they've also done a pretty decent job of not turning the ball over. We know this Tigers defense is one of the best in the nation, and they're really good at creating turnovers. The Riverhawks have only turned the ball over 5 times tonight. They've done a great job of making good passes and smart passes. And going into the second half, we're going to look at Perkins and Bailey. They've been having themselves a great night so far. But if we can see Cook starting to get a little bit more points up, the Riverhawks could easily just start walking away with this. And one thing I'd like to see the Riverhawks fix in the second half, they've been allowing a lot of second chance shots. And to help fix that, just do a little bit better job of boxing out and going to the rebound after the ball is shot. Just little things like that will help the Riverhawks here in the tight ball game that's going on right now. But in the end, just keep doing what they're doing. Just good ball movement and making smart decisions to keep the ball away from the Tigers.
Well, in the pregame show, I said if the Tigers want to win, they have to limit the turnovers, and they're doing okay with that. They only have 3 turnovers so far. But I also said if they really want to win this game, their bench has to step up, and their bench has combined for only 9 points so far, and we don't know how Gabe Pichot could keep this going up. He needs some help, and especially bench points would definitely help the Tigers win this ball game. They only have 9, and they have some good players coming off the bench, so I'm expecting them that 9 points to get to around 25 or even more, because I know the Tigers want to get to 6-1 and start the season good, and these are the things they have to do. So they got to win the bench points. They got to win the battle of the bench.
It's been a neck-and-neck battle so far tonight in the first half. We'll see if this action continues as we get ready for the second half of action. We'll be right back after this break.
Whoo, man, that was a terrific game, man. Welcome to the post-game show. Thank you guys for staying tuned with us right now. I know y'all had to watch 5 more minutes, but it was a great game, and I'm sure y'all enjoyed it just like us, as the Fort Hays State University Tigers beat the Northeastern State Riverhawks of a score of 96-87. Man, there's a lot of things to talk about right now, but we just got to talk about Caleb Hemeke, man. The man had 2. I told you in the pregame show that he was the player to watch. At the end of this game, this man had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 36 points. Talking about putting your team on the back. Someone get this man a chiropractor, because this man carried this team on his back. He had 36 points on 72% field goal shooting, 13 for 18, and on threes he was 66.7%. He was 4 for 6. And I talked about limiting the turnovers to win this game, and the Tigers did just that. They only had 5 turnovers the whole game. And I talked about bench players. They need to win the battle of the bench if the Tigers want to win. And Trajan Davis came up huge in this game. He had 11 points and 4 big-time rebounds. And can't mention it enough, man. Caleb Hemeke controlled the game. He's the leader of his team, lead this team in points, steals, assists. And tonight he came up huge. 36 points on 72% shooting. Caleb Hemeke, man, he gotta be the player of the week. Man,
Well, although the Riverhawks fell short in this thriller of a game, there was a lot of good stuff you can still take away from the Riverhawks. Tonight, they have scored the most points on the really tough Fort Hays State University defense. Did a real good job. Other than this game, the highest points scored on the Tigers was 66. Heading into this They finished the game with 87 points. A lot of that has to be credited to the free throws. They got a lot of opportunities at the line, going 27 for 32. That really helped add up some points there for the Riverhawks. And they also had a lot of good ball movement throughout the game, good passes, got a lot of open shots against a really tough defense. Now, looking on the other side, the stuff that they could have fixed up a little, they had some very costly turnovers, especially there at the end, just out of bounds plays and stuff like that, just costly turnovers that really gave a little bit more momentum into the Tigers' favor. And another thing, going into this game, I talked about the rebounds, how the Riverhawks have been struggling a little bit with the rebounds. It showed here tonight with allowing 13 offensive rebounds to the Tigers. That really helped the Tigers just get those second chance, third chance even shots. So that little mistake right there is just something you might want to fix for the Riverhawks moving forward. But what a great game till the very end, just down to the very end, going all the way into a overtime period. Couldn't ask for much better basketball. We'll see you next time on the next Tiger Media broadcast on Saturday as the Fort Hays State Tigers take on the Rogers State Hillcats.